Greetings. Welcome to Talking Trash. We are back after a week off.
Yep.
2 weeks off for you because you decided to blow off a show.
Yeah, I played a little
And now
softball.
your brother's doing that. So
yeah, I don't know what's up with them.
I don't know what's with you Goyets not making the show. Stewie Griffin is going to be our third man today. Stewie, say hello.
I'm going to crab double for you tonight.
Very nice. Very nice.
It was.
Yeah, we have a lot to catch up on. So maybe we should get caught up on some of the back stuff first, and then hit with what's current.
Boy, it seems like so much happens in sports that I just kind of forget what's happened. You know, like
don't get out of hand because right now things are not happening in sports, and we'll get to why that later. People might notice the Spurs hat on me. You know how much I dislike the Spurs. This is not a bet. It's just a hat I happen to have. Found it in my closet. Threw it on out of respect for them. I still dislike them, but they're a good team. The best team won. They wiped the Cavs out, and if you still question that the Jazz were a better team than the Cavs, I think you can see it in the fact that the Jazz could actually take a game from the Spurs. The Cavaliers could not. They were all about one man. They never scored more than 38 points before halftime. The Cavaliers were just plain bad in every game, and the Spurs were great in games 1 and 2 and just barely good enough in games 3 and 4.
But I think they're without a doubt they're the best team.
Oh, you fought through that.
That's all, folks. Anyway, I think they are the best team in the NBA without a doubt.
Yep.
And if you want to start talking about dynasty, I think there's one thing that you have to do to be a dynasty, and that's win 2 in a row. You got to win 2 in a row, and they haven't done that yet. So I don't know if you can truly call them a dynasty, but I think they're on their way there.
Yeah, there's a lot of debate about whether they can be considered a dynasty. I'd say 4 championships in 9 years is a pretty good team.
3 and 5 too. So.
And 3 and 5 is also pretty exceptional. I would have to say that they are a dynasty, and I know a lot of people are neglecting because they don't have the back-to-back. But maybe they'll get it. I hope they don't. But
I think they could win. I think they could win it next year because
they're a good all-around team.
Coming back,
I think
they're going to have a lot of the same guys there.
As long as
they
stay
could
healthy.
Do it this year, yeah. Why wouldn't they?
Because they are an older team.
They are the oldest team in the league, actually.
When you take a look at 3 of their top scorers, and Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, and Tony Parker, who really emerged in the series and was the MVP of the finals, those 3 guys did not play very well in Game 3. Didn't have a boatload of points, yet they still found a way to win. And if you have 3 high scorers on your team and none of them are on, and you still win the game, that means everybody else must have stepped up, and that's pretty solid. I mean, you've got guys stepping up on that team that people may have never have heard of, but that's what makes good team basketball. And I'm glad that the team won instead of we have basically one player and that's how we're going to play. I would have rather seen the Pistons in that series. I think the Pistons may have been able to take a game. Their defensive style would have shut down the Spurs when the Spurs had a bad game.
It's just like
whatever.
It's just like in football, though. It's like the NFC Championship and the AFC Championship are usually better than the Super Bowl, and it was the same. It was the same this year. The Western Conference Finals wasn't really all that great, but the Eastern Conference Finals that was one of the greatest series that we've seen in basketball in a long time.
And another one of them
going back and forth with Detroit and Cleveland.
Another one of the marquee series was the Suns and the Spurs, which also fell in the second round. And they've been talking a lot about making sure that the NBA recedes to avoid something like that happening again.
They do need to do that.
And one other argument that I heard made, I believe on PTI, not really sure, is that they should make the argument for just seeding everybody and taking out the idea of the East and West and allowing those
I don't really like that idea.
Allowing the 8 teams in from the East the same way they would, but then seeding that way. So that way you get the 2 best teams in the finals. You know it would be better for ratings because you'd get 2 much better teams at the end.
But it'd probably end up being 2 teams from the West, and that kind of defeats the purpose of even having an East and a Western Conference.
C'est la vie. If that's who wins,
I don't like it.
If that's who wins, then that's who wins. Those are the best 2 teams. I want to see the best 2 teams. That's what the finals should be about. That's what any final series should be about. And a lot of times it's not. I don't like
that though. I'd rather see the best team from the West and the best team from the East. If that's how your league is divided up. I mean, in football, it's the AFC.
Okay, well, you're pulling the purist card, but
I just want to see. I would rather you. No, that would ruin things.
Well, a lot of people wanted to see Suns and Mavs this year. Obviously that didn't happen, but even if you saw Spurs and Suns or something like that along the line, and that was your final this year, people would have been excited about it. People would watch that. But people weren't into this because, other than the fact that LeBron was making his finals debut, the Spurs aren't a sexy team. People don't seem to like to watch them. It was the lowest rated NBA finals in history. And it's like they need to do something to spice it up. And I don't know if on a purist level it's right, but I think it would be more exciting for the game and people would enjoy it more if you saw the best 2 teams at the end Not because some teams upset other people, just because you took them
right.
and you said, here's the best teams,
All right.
and let's seed them accordingly.
Next year, I'll take 2 sexy popular teams, and I'll get it right, and the NBA can have some ratings. So
I see.
That's what I'll do. I'll do that for them.
So now you're
next year.
tuning your horn again for having the right 2 teams in the finals and correctly predicting the Spurs.
And I don't even like basketball.
See, we are blowhards, but every once in a while we get stuff right, and I think that ever since you've been on the show, one of us has predicted the final thing right.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we're on a pretty good roll. All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
The Ducks won the Stanley Cup. You want to talk about that?
Are we done with basketball, though? Because, I mean, I think Kobe Bryant needs to be
but
about.
we're getting caught up on the old stuff right now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because we just want to get it out of the way.
Yeah, the Ducks did win the Cup. I don't really remember when it happened because I didn't really pay attention.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, whatever.
Weeks.
Who cares?
They're the best team in hockey.
Not really.
Well, they're right up there. They're a good team. They had good defensive play. Jaguar played well. They got it done. Good for them.
I think they beat a pretty easy. I think they beat a pretty easy team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. It's a dark day for sports.
It is.
If I think we might be caught up on some of that other stuff now. It's a dark day for sports in my book. That's why I'm wearing black today. I just hate it when the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs go away because then you have to put all your stock into baseball, racing, and it's just not exciting. It's boring. Baseball is okay. I enjoy racing to a certain degree, but
you only get 1 race a week.
These are sports you put on and you take a nap during, and it's pretty crazy. It stinks that now we go into a couple months span where there's
no playoffs or anything until October. So
right. Well, I can do without playoffs. The beginning of football is big. Towards August it gets interesting again. But we got a little dry spell here where we're basically gonna have to make stuff up to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start making ludicrous stuff up. Like,
oh yeah, that'll be
I don't
different.
even know.
That'll be different from any other show.
Yeah.